today Field Study 2 students of Bago City College. Today's meeting is about Episode 8. Episode 8 is establishing my own classroom routines in a face-to-face or remote learning. This is Dr. Maria Sheila D. Plahimon, your Field Study Supervisor. The following intended learning outcomes are: at the end of the episode, the pre-service teacher must have explained the classroom routines, reflected on the basic questions when building the classroom routines and procedures in the classroom and in remote learning, listed down possible topics for action research on classroom routines and procedures, and last, you must have created classroom routines and procedures before doing and after classes in a face-to-face or in remote learning. Routines are the backbone of your daily classroom life, and it also facilitates teaching and learning. Routines don't just make the life of the teacher easier, but it saves valuable classroom time. And routines is efficient. Then, if its routine is efficient, then it will make easier to students to learn and achieve. Establishing routines early in the school year enables you to run your daily activities smoothly. It ensures that you manage time effectively. And it also helps you maintain order in the classroom because routine makes you more focused in teaching because you will spend less time in giving directions or instructions because routines are already arranged and it was already um, given to students and it will be followed also by the students. Routines also enable you to explain to the learners what are expected of them because classroom routines set the foundation for the meaningful school year with teachers and students, whether in the classroom or remotely. To teach classroom routines remotely, it is best to record videos and to post this in the Learning Management System or LMS so that students may watch them over and over again for better retention and for families to view them so they can also assist their children when needed. In routine, students can also take an active role in establishing classroom routines. They can brainstorm on ideas which they will most likely do and follow because routines are very important, especially when done in remotely learning, so that there will be less distractions both for synchronous and asynchronous participation. Here are the following um, routines and procedures that you should be reminded of. First is you have to create routines in the submission of tasks and requirements. You have to create routines in that kind of activities or procedures. And also, you also have to make procedures or routine about the movement into and out of the classroom. And also in checking of the attendance. How are you going to check the attendance? How are you going to arrange in the checking of the attendance? Are you going to assign numbers and when that number is not being mentioned by the students, so meaning that student assigned to that number is absent. So it depends on your style as a teacher. And also, you have to create also a routine on the classroom greeting. So how are you let your student greet you when you come in the classroom or you enter the classroom, or when the other teachers enter the classroom, or when a visitor enter the classroom, or how will you have to also set a certain routine for your students of how are they going to greet their classmates, and also getting supplies and materials. So there are so many like books, no, inside the classroom. So how is the procedure or the routine that you wanted your students be followed in getting all the materials and supplies in the classroom or books? No? Example, it's reading time. So how are you letting your students get books? What's the procedure? How are you going to arrange your students when they read books? When is the time? When is the proper time? Then others when deemed necessary, and other things that was not mentioned here. Use of a washroom. No? Okay, so when would you like your students to get to enter the bathroom or the comfort rooms? Then transitioning to group work, like uh, if students are seated individually, and during the group activities, how are you going to manage your students to work properly, to work peacefully, and also line formations. Okay? So that is some routines and procedures that you can create out from those important things that you are doing and that you are going to do inside the classroom. Next, here are the following guide in establishing routines and procedures. So these are the important things to do inside the classroom in establishing routines and procedures to ensure that you carry out or you perform your tasks as a teacher efficiently and effectively. First is gain your students' attention in the classroom. So how will you gain the attention of your students inside the classroom? It is when you plan out your classroom strategy. That is how you can gain the attention of the students because they only have a short span of attention. So you have to got the attention of your students. You also have to create activities. You have to think through what are the interactive activities that your students can perform, can do, so that you will get the attention of your students. Establish before, during, and after your classes, whether it's face to face or remote learning. So you must establish your classroom routine before the start of the class. Example, you have to let your students fall in line in entering the class, or example, you can also create a proper sitting arrangement of your students wherein each students are assigned where to sit down. Is it according to height, or is it according to their last name? No? So, or is it in alphabetical order? Okay, that is the before. That is just an example. There are so many things that you can do, no, before the start of the class and during the class, during when the class is going on. Students, example, no, you can also tell your students to raise hands, not shouting. That's one. Or they, you have to create proper rules to follow in the passing of paper. How are you going to do that? Peacefully again, wala na dahon, wala na tindog. And also in the checking of attendance. That is during. And there's so many things pa during the class. How about after the class? These are just examples that I example, students should pick up pieces of paper. After the class, it's an automatic gesture of the students that they have to pick pieces of paper. Or if you are um, um, if you wanted them to do play go, clean as you go. Because during those times that you have activities, like if it's an art time, if they have like things that you are doing in the activities, that the classroom is messy, you just don't need not to tell everyone to clean. It's just a part of their systems, just a part of their part of their work, no, inside the classroom. Then, and many more. Next is you have to use verbal and non-verbal communication to signal students if they need, or if they need help, or if they need attention in the classroom or remote learning. You can also set rules, no? When your students need something, if they want attention, what is your instruction? Is it that you tell them to just raise your hand, meaning students are have something to say? That's non-verbal. Just raise their hand. It's just body gesture. Okay, that's one. Students must get or secure the needed work materials and books and authors in the class. So, you know that before the start of the class, students shall make sure that they are ready, in their materials, especially if they have something to do inside, or there are some activities. So you have to um, also set your rules, no, and things that the student should follow when doing some work, especially if there are books, like before the example, no, before the start of the class, you already have given the instruction that upon entering, students are already have books with them. That the books are arranged in the shelves. How can they get the books? Whatever um, rules would you like to be followed by your students? Okay. Then mechanics, no? Students must have transition to group work and other cooperative activities in the classroom or in remote learning. So during group works, it is just so simple. No? When you want your students to work quietly, that they have to work cooperatively, they just have to set mechanics. Mechanics in group work, or group work mechanics. Because if there's mechanics, then it's very easy. Where is group one situated into the classroom? Where is the group two? Where's the group three? So it's just automatic on their part if they belong to group one, or even the grouping. So how are you going to divide your class in every group activity that you will have? So if they know their group number, if you have these rules inside the classroom during group activities, or if you have that mechanics, they can just proceed to the areas where each group are assigned. Next, rules. No, you have to set rules in their personal necessities. They cannot just go out 3 to 5 times in 1 hour. You have to also set the rules that before the start of the class, they are given like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to do personal necessities. Magluwas lang kung may problema dito sa pamilya nila. That um, at the middle of your lecture, they have to really go out. So you also have to say that to your students. If you have problem with your health, if you usually urinate, even after 30 minutes, you have to let your students inform. Then rules must be set for students who finish tasks early and for those who cannot complete work on time. So task must finish at the right time. You also have to give ample time to finish. If students are taking advantage, then you have to announce a minus point for the work. Again, it depends upon you as a teacher that you have to set rules, like for those who pass the work late, beyond the due date. Next, procedures must be observed for tardiness or early dismissals. So you have to announce your rules about attendance, about tardiness. Then procedures must be done when submitting homework or performance tasks in the classroom or remote learning. Okay, so do not forget to announce about the submission of their work, their homework, or their performance. How are they going to do that? Then, last, procedures must be employed in movements into and out of the classroom or remote learning. So again, they must have rules for coming in and out of the classroom. Okay? So all in all, these things should be done prior to the implementation of your, like, the consequence of their actions. So this must be discussed. This must be arranged to your students. You have to lay your cards on the table to how you have to really explain all your routines and procedures before you have to give like minus points, whatever, whatever um uh, whatever minus points that you would like to apply in your class. If they commit mistakes, you have to really explain first all the routines and procedures. Okay. Here is an example. Isa niya siya sa mga example. I do not say that you have to follow all of those, but these are the things that you can create your routines and policies during raising of hands, turning in papers, sharpening pencils, bathroom procedures, like during snacks, lining up, prior drill, working in groups, going to the nurse, or if you have to answer the phone, entering the classroom, getting water, packing up, writing down homework, turning in homework, turning in papers, passing out papers, returning forms, classroom library, getting a tissue, taking attendance, throwing away trash, answering the door to visitors, attendance, working in groups, working independently, absent students walking in the hallway, using classroom supplies, getting sick, lunch count, transportation, so on and so forth. Like example, if they are absent, what they have to do. Right? I think about absences, there are also rules of the school. So it should also be aligned in your classroom. Okay, so here is the activity that you are going to um, perform. The instruction is look for a high school teacher handling online class to be interviewed if she can still accommodate you with her time. Again, be polite and do the interview via video call and take a snapshot as a proof that you really did the interview. But first, ask her or him if it's okay if he will take a photo of her. Interview him or her based on the guidelines of establishing routines and procedures in the classroom or in remote learning. Then after the interview, make a matrix for the routines that she employed before, during, and after classes in the classroom or remote learning to ensure order and discipline in her classes. The list and then list down the problems that she encountered while implementing these routines. Okay, so this is your matrix. You have to create the matrix. And letter B, you have to list down the problem that she encountered while implementing these routines. So in the matrix, you have to add on one part that you have noticed, no? In the interview, what are the problems, no? That you encountered while she is implementing this uh, routines and the procedures on the last part of the routines on the table. Your output is you create your own classroom routines and procedures based on the created matrix on the result of your interview. Okay, then that's one, my classroom routines and procedure. Then you have to answer. You have to output what is your own classroom routine and procedure. Then, how did you feel after employing your classroom routines and establishing your procedures in the classroom or in remote learning? How will your students respond to your classroom routines procedure? What do you think? How will your students respond to that created routine that you have? Then what might be the feedback of your interviewed teacher about your routines and procedures? So you can again contact her, ask her, let him or her read your created, your own classroom routines and procedure. And you just ask her opinion about it. Her reaction, what is her reaction, what is her opinion about it? Then explain the reason why did you formulated that routines and procedures. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much and may God bless you. Good luck in your episode